Welcome back to the CocoaPod development tutorial series. Finally, we have arrived at the position in starting the coding part of our calendar. This is the view of our library, and I'm going to add the component which shows the calendar. Our calendar would have three parts. The display of month, week, and date. I'm planning to use an NS collection wheel to display that. So in our lib file here, I'm going to remove the temporary label and then drag in a collection wheel. For example, I want to just center the collection wheel for now, and then as we make the change, it changes in the target application as well. I can run the target application to take a look, and now the collection wheel without any content is showing up on our target application. Then in this collection wheel, for example, I just want to set it to the margin of the parent view. I can use auto layout here. Simply add the constraint of 0 to all the margins. And then I'm going to make an IBLet linkage of the collection wheel to our calendar wheel main class, and call this as collection wheel. And then, just like any other collection wheel setup, I'm going to the attributes inspector of the collection wheel, and since 2015 we can start using the float layout for the layout of the collection, and also make use of data source instead of the contents to provide the data. To do that, I can first change the layout here to flow layout, and then in the connection inspector, I'm going to point the data source to our file owner. Point the data source to the file owner, which means the main class, and also the delegate. Now I can switch to our main class and implement the method for the NS collection wheel data source and NS collection wheel delegate protocol. Start with the collection wheel data source. There are two methods we must implement. The first one is the number of items in section. Let me start with hardcode number, say return 3. And then the other is the item for represent the object at index path, which provides the NS collection wheel item to be displayed. Here I'm going to create a class for the as the subclass of NS collection wheel item. Find the source here, choose Coca class, and then let me call it as for example month item. So this will be used to display the month part I'm not going to create the lib together because I'm going to create it separately and put it into the correct folder. So the class would store into the classes folder, and even I would like to create one more folder as views to contain all the NS collection view item, and if I have a view subclass, I will put it inside this folder as well. In fact, I'm going to create a group as views here and drag month item into it. And then on the access part, I'm going to create the view which will be bind to the month item class. And I will call it with the same name so it is easier to recognize. And then first, I don't need that big. Say, for example, I expect my whole calendar will be 280 wide, so the month item shall be 280 as well. And for the height, let me set to 50 for now. And then I can show like a label here, calling it month just now. And then in order to bind this view to our month item, first drag the object here, set this object's class as month item, and then link the month item view to the view of this lib file, like this. With this setup, I can return the item created with the month item here, using collection view dot make item with identifier. The identifier is the name of the lib file, and provide the index path here. On the other hand, I'm going to implement the NS collection view delegate protocol as well. For now, we don't need to implement any of these methods, so we can just leave it empty for now. I can run the application in this CocoaPod library as well, but remember that I need to set up the view and add it to our view controller in this project. So the setup here is basically the same as what we did in the target application. I can simply copy here and then add the child view controller and the sub view accordingly, like this. So I'm now running the project in the CocoaPod library. Apparently I have made something wrong, so let's try to debug this. First, I would show the view hierarchy. This is the collection view, but the collection view item and the view inside are not showing up. I will first check the code in the view item. Okay, so one thing I did wrong, I'm extending subclassing a wrong class. The one here should be NS collection view item. Let's try running it again. Still not showing up. Let's do wheel hierarchy again. So this time we have 3 squares appearing, and they are NS wheel. So I guess the wheel item is working, but it is quite small. We need to resize it. So I will take a look on the calendar view. Check out the collection view here with the attributes. Let's see, I want to set the width to be 280, like this, and run this again. Okay, so now the month showing up. In fact, if I resize the view here, the collection view is kind of fixed, so that's okay, because the view out there is resizing the view inside view controller, but the collection view's frame size is set where we just add the subview to this view. Let's try to run the target application at this point. Nothing showing up, but right now we have just added some new files. Perhaps I'm going to run the pod install again. We need to load the new files into the target application. Okay, it takes some time, and now it's done. We can now run the application again. It's still not showing up. Maybe I'm going to build hierarchy again. This is the collection view. Again, the collection view item and its view are not showing up. So what happened? I see. If I check the source, okay, one thing, the new class of the collection view item is not showing up, so pod install has some problem. Also, the error here tells that it fails to connect the view. So let's check the location in the CocoaPod library. We have month item here inside the views folder. Maybe it's because of pod spec setting incorrectly. So let's take a look. I'm going to check the pod spec file. Maybe the path is wrong. That's it. We only include the source files at the root folder of the classes. So views folder is one level inside, and then it is not included. So I can modify the pod spec here. And now go back to the target application, run pod install again. This is like the workflow when I'm creating the CocoaPod library. Sometimes you need to adjust the settings in order to fit your ongoing development of the library. Okay, the pod install finished. we first check whether the other source file is appearing. Okay, it's here. One more thing. If I take a look on the month item, this one is not set to public. This means we cannot access this file from our target application. In fact, we are only using this class within the framework. So we don't need to add the public here. Let's try to run the application now and see whether it works. So as you can see, months are shown, no errors appearing, and we are all good in the first checkpoint of developing the calendar library. We will be doing the week and date tomorrow, and the basic layout of the calendar will be set. See you tomorrow.